Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy, back again with another update this evening. Martin Odegaard wants to come back to Arsenal. He is very informed of the interest and much interested as well in returning to the Emirates Stadium. We are going to be speaking about that, and we shall also give you an update around the outgoings at the club at the moment. There's a lot of talk going around with Arsenal and the new goalkeeper. I'll tackle on that as well. Look, it is so dry. It is so dry, but we will try to get in all the updates. I'll try to give you all the updates as they come in around Arsenal. Please do smash a like on the video, please do subscribe to the channel, and obviously make sure you hit the notification bell. Let's get the party started. So a couple of reports have actually reported today. I think you've seen some of them. If you've not seen the story, it's actually reports are actually suggesting from Spain that Martin Ødegaard wants a return to Arsenal. Just days after, reports actually came out and said he looks very disconnected from Real Madrid. Now, this is a lot of transfer deja vu. A lot of transfer deja vu, and we're gonna try to dive into it and try to understand the real situation around Odegaard, Arsenal, Madrid, and what are the possibilities. Because yesterday we talked about the risk of James Maddison and the risk of Martin Odegaard, and I said one of the things you have in these deals is you could actually you risk to lose both of them. You don't want to do that. You don't want to lose Odegaard and James Maddison. You want to get either of them. So at the moment, what we know is Martin Odegaard wants to come back to Arsenal, wants a return to Arsenal, and wants a return to the Premier League. Arsenal have him as number one priority, and I will say that again. Arsenal have Martin Odegaard as number one priority on their transfer list. They are saying, Mikel Arteta, Edu, they are saying they will not go for any other creative midfielder, even if there is the slightest of chances. And this has been reported consistently right from June, and I've never changed my mind. It is only AFC Bell that actually came out and said Maddison is now the number one priority for Arsenal. But all the outlets, including the Athletic, including Goal.com, Charles Watts, big up to my man Charles Watts, always on spot, goal correspondent, Arsenal correspondent for Goal.com. Make sure you do check out his channel on YouTube as well, and a couple of pieces he writes on Goal.com as well. You could also follow him on Twitter. But it's been consistent. The amount of information that has been coming out has been so consistent that Arsenal will wait for Martin Odegaard to see whether they have the slightest of chances to actually get him back. Mikel Arteta and Edu look at him as the perfect number 10, look at him as the perfect player for what Mikel Arteta wants to do. And I'm gonna say this, it's a little bit disgusting to come from me, but I love Maddison. I prefer Maddison to Martin Odegaard, because with James Maddison you have an impact that is instant. It's like performing a CPR on someone whose heart has stopped. That is it. It's an instant impact. But with Martin Odegaard, you have a player who fits into what the manager wants to do. They're two different things. Yes, Maddison is appreciated, wanted very much at Arsenal, but probably there is a reason as to why Mikel Arteta wants Martin Odegaard. And of course, all the debates trying to compare the two players are outrightly justified. They're justified because two players playing in the same area. Two players that you want to create chances, two players that you expect to score goals. Odegaard doesn't do much of that. Absolutely doesn't take the risk. James Maddison does that. That is his daily income. That is his daily food. That is how he earns his money. So the big question is then, how easy is the Odegaard deal becoming? One, it looks like we're going back to the situation in January, because in January Arsenal were interested, Real Sociedad were interested as well. We pushed harder than Sociedad to get the player, and the player also pushed hard to get out of Madrid and join Arsenal on a loan deal. It is reported that Madrid never wanted Martin Ødegaard to go to Arsenal in the first place. And they were not actually happy with the decision the player actually made to force a move, to Arsenal for the 6 months he actually spent with us. But that is now aside. Now we have another scenario where the player says, I want to go back to Arsenal, I want to go back to the Premier League, I want to play here. My question there is Martin Ødegaard trying to force a move out of Real Madrid? Because that makes a lot of sense. If Ødegaard pushes a move out of Madrid, it puts us in a better situation than we are in right now. Because at the moment, we are at the mercy of Martin Ødegaard. We are also at the mercy of Real Madrid. Like, we don't know whether we will get the player or we will not get the player. But if it happens that Martin Ødegaard is willing to push for a move, push for his own transfer out of Real Madrid, because the reasons are so clear. The game time, he is not guaranteed game time at Real Madrid. He's guaranteed game time at Arsenal. And one of the things Jan Edfroger said about Martin Ødegaard was the fame is not so important to him at the moment. The player is looking at game time and how to develop himself further. And look, there is no way you're going to develop as a player without game time. Yes, you can develop if you're not in football. But if it is football is a results oriented sport. You've got to show something. Development is quantifiable, if that's the word I should say. Development is quantifiable. The level of progress you're at is quantifiable. Ødegaard is not growing any younger. He knows this. He's been at Real Madrid ever since he was 15. That is way back in 2015, 2016. At the moment, he's not looking at the name Madrid. He's looking at he's looking at how do I add value to myself. How do I add value to the name Martin Ødegaard? How do I bring out the Martin Ødegaard many people believed was going to become one of the greatest talents on the planet? And for me to do that, you've got to play regularly. One or two things that I can think about. One is Arsenal do offer him the chance to play regularly, and in one of the most viewed leagues in the world. And another thing with Martin Ødegaard and Arsenal, and this is ridiculous but it's true, Arsenal are never going to stand in the way of Martin Ødegaard if he wants to leave. Look, if you buy him for £40 million or 45, and at some point in time a club comes in with £60 million, and I'm talking about just 60, that is 15 million more, Arsenal will never stand in the way of Martin Ødegaard. They will let him go. For instance, Barcelona come in 2 years later and they're like, we want 26-year-old Martin Ødegaard from Arsenal. It's never in the records that Arsenal will say, we will not sell to Barcelona, we will not sell Real Madrid, we will not sell to a bigger club than us, or PSG or wherever. It will never happen. It has never happened. So if Ødegaard is looking at this deal in terms of his development, absolutely is doing it spot on. Come to Arsenal, get regular football, develop, get the media in the English Premier League. Fine. It's time to move on. 2 years later, 3 years later, it's time to move on. You need to perform on a bigger stage. You need to go to a club that has bigger ambitions than Arsenal. They are always gonna let you go. At least that is one I know. That is one thing I know about Arsenal. We are always loyal to our players' demands. We will let them go. We will let them go if they want to go. So the debate, though, rather now is actually on if he comes in on another loan spell, 2 years left on his contract, or he actually comes in on a permanent basis. So there's a big question. If he comes in on a loan deal, plays a whole season without an obligation to buy, that is ridiculous. It's like you're grooming someone's, some because Odegaard has the potential to explode at any. It's a time bomb. It's gonna explode any time from now. That's one of the things we've got to accept. is a time bomb. It's just like Saka. It's just like Smith Rowe. It's just like Gabriel Martinelli. It's like Phil Foden. They can explode anytime from now. They are ticking. Time is ticking. So they're time bombs. You really can't buy the idea. Let's take him on a loan deal, and maybe if he does well, yeah, we can sign him. Madrid are never gonna agree to that. They could either give him a new long-term contract if they still do want to keep him. I reckon they'll give him a long-term contract, and then after that they might actually loan him out to Arsenal. Or what they might do is give us 45 million pounds. They could say that. Give us 45 million pounds or 55 million pounds, and then we will let the player go. So the risk of signing Martin Ødegaard for 55 million pounds is on one side. The risk of waiting for him until Madrid decides is on the other side. And of course, you have now the risk, right, of leaving James Maddison to go for Martin Ødegaard. But of course, we shall speak about that on the live show, and we'll dive into your opinions about what you people think. But at the moment, do you think Martin Ødegaard is worth the risk? Don't think about his performances at Arsenal. Don't think about the negative collection of information you have about him, because it's not true. He's absolutely disgusting good. He's disgusting good. So don't think about the fact that he's not good enough, because it's not true. It's absolutely not true. He's good and good enough for this football club. I'll speak to you very, very soon. Do smash a like on the video, do subscribe to the channel, and let us meet just in an hour's time.